my reaction, interpretation, and input on the most recent GOP debate and their take on Social Security. I have all the details and exactly what you need to know right here in the video. Let's get right into it. I know just the other day, there was the most recent GOP debate where there were 5 candidates on stage sharing their opinions and strategies on pressing issues, which also Social Security just so happened to be one of those pressing issues. Well, in this video, I do want to share with you my reaction and input based on what they've said in this debate and what it means for you as a Social Security beneficiary. Now, this is going to be a fun one, and I do want to jump into the details about this, as well as I do want to share the clip with you of these 5 candidates sharing their opinions on Social Security, as well as I do want to share with you something that we also need to take into consideration above and beyond these 5 candidates and what they're talking about with Social Security. So before we get into it any further, let's roll the clip, and I will come back in about 2 minutes after this clip, and we will digest everything that they've said, as well as break it all down and tell you everything you need to know. Roll the clip, and I'll catch you again in just a minute.
We need to be realistic about this. There are only 3 things that go into determining whether Social Security can be solvent or not: retirement age, eligibility for the program in general, and taxes.
So first of all, any candidate that tells you that they're not going to take on entitlements is not being serious. Social Security will go bankrupt in 10 years. Medicare will go bankrupt in 8. Right now, you have Ron and Trump joining Biden and Pelosi saying they're not going to change or do any sort of entitlement reform. What we need to do is keep our promises. Those that have been promised should keep it.
I think we can get to 3, 4, maybe even 5% GDP growth if we really take the regulatory shackles off of our economy. And against that backdrop, I believe this is our last best window to be able to take care of our national debt problem through those severe measures, including sacrificing the foreign wars that many bloodthirsty members of both parties have a hunger for.
The bottom line is a simple one. We have to grow our economy and cut our spending. Let me just say to my mama and to every other mama or grandfather receiving Social Security, as President of the United States, I will protect your Social Security. The fact is that we're spending today about $1.1 trillion on Social Security, about $750 billion on Medicare, about $300 billion on Medicaid, about $400 billion on veterans benefits, $1.7 trillion on annual appropriations. If we're going to actually tame this tiger, the way you do it is not by picking on seniors who have paid into a program that deserve their money coming back out to them.
Well, look, as governor of Florida, I know a few people on Social Security, and I know it's important. My grandmother lived till 91, and Social Security was her sole source of income, and that's true for a lot of seniors throughout this country. So what I'd say to seniors in America, promise made, promise kept. I understand what you're going through with the rising prices, and you need that Social Security check.
All right, there's the clip I wanted to share with you. Now, obviously, this is not the entire debate, but it does give you a little bit of a sample to determine what these 5 candidates actually believe about Social Security and some of their plans going forward with the program. Now, I do want to break down all the details of this because the consensus based on everything that all of these candidates were saying is it's a very important program. It is vitally important, and the vast majority of beneficiaries do rely on their checks for the vast majority of their income. Therefore, it is essential that this program continues to move on, and they all came together and agreed to a sense that, yes, the program does need to be reformed. Now, what is the reform going to look like? That's a great question, and nobody really knows the answer to that quite yet, but they all do agree, yes, the program must stay around, and the program needs to be reformed, as well as fixed up in a way that this program will remain solvent like it is right now for many more years into the future. But we do notice as well, one of the candidates right there also mentioned it's going to be bankrupt. In other words, it's broke in 10 years. In other words, the trust fund is insolvent, as in completely empty in about 10 years, which you already know because I've talked about that many times before in other videos right here on the channel. However, now let's quickly talk about the details of this because I want to point out something else that one of the candidates also pointed out right there in this little clip that I shared with you, which is right now the Biden administration has no plans whatsoever to do anything with Social Security. Now, I don't want to turn this into a political thing. I certainly do not want to persuade anybody politically which side to lean or anything like that. But I do want to point this out because I've said this many times before in other videos. 2024 is the year of Social Security. If nothing gets done for 4 years with the next administration, we're going to be in a very, very bad situation. That's why I keep saying the year of 2024 is the year of Social Security, and it is vitally, vitally important. Whoever is going to be the next administration needs to do something about Social Security. If they waste another 4 years and nothing gets done with this program, guess what? Well, then we have a very, very short window to get some type of reform or changes to the program before insolvency. It's basically they've wasted 4 years if that happens, okay? That's why I continue to say 2024 is the year of Social Security. Anyway, I want to bring this little clip to you really quickly and talk through the details about this. They all recognize, very important. In fact, you heard the last candidate there say that his grandmother lived until 90, right? The vast majority of her income was based on Social Security checks. He gets it, right? And again, by the way, that is the governor of Florida. So he gets it. There's a lot of people that are retired and living on Social Security living in the state of Florida, right? So anyway, as a result of this, we all know that there's going to be some type of changes to Social Security. Now as well, some of the candidates here in this clip also talked about reforming the full retirement age. Now, here's what's interesting about this, because we've heard this before. They continue to say that, oh, we should raise the full retirement age. That is scary to some people. However, I want to point this out really quickly. They are not saying to raise the full retirement age for current beneficiaries or anybody basically older than the age of 40. Basically what they're saying with this is that, which by the way, this was not included in the clip there, but I did watch this and I did a bunch of research on this. Essentially what they were saying is that they want to raise the full retirement age on younger people, which by the way, that includes me, okay? I'm just under 40. I know it seems weird, but I'm in the age range where they want to raise my full retirement age. That's fine. I honestly probably agree with that. For younger people, they probably need to. And by the way, it would not have any impact on people that are over the age of 40, okay? They basically want to raise the full retirement age up to 69 or 70 for people that are under the age of 40. So basically like, mid-30s and younger, okay? Well, that is very important, right? Here's the thing. The life expectancies right now and how long people are living these days is way, way longer than what it was, say, 40, 50, 80, 90 years ago when Social Security was still brand new. Now, Social Security hasn't been around quite 90 years, but very close to 90 years. Life expectancies, say, 40, 50, 60 years ago, were significantly less than what they are today. Therefore, if people are living longer, that means that we're drawing on Social Security significantly longer, putting more stress on the program, as in drawing more money out than basically what the program was established to do basically 90 years ago. Does that kind of make sense? So anyway, I want to share this clip with you so you can hear a little bit from these 5 candidates as of right now and their takes on Social Security. The best thing that I want to say and the main reaction point to this clip is they all recognize it is an essentially a vitally important program. It needs to be around. It needs to be reformed, and these checks are not going anywhere. You heard a couple of the guys there say as well, we know, we get it, we promise, we're not going to take these checks away. They get it. They know how incredibly important this program is. We all know this, right? It's very important stuff. But at the end of the day, we all recognize that inaction is not a plan, which by the way, Biden does not want to do anything with Social Security. That's not a good plan. I'm just saying that is a bad idea, okay? It must be reformed. To sit on our hands and act like, oh, we're fine, we're good for another 4 years. I'm sorry, that is not a good plan. That is going to make things really, really hard in 4 or 5 years from right now. When another administration comes in, that's going to be a rough time, okay? Because the window at that point has gotten so incredibly small, any changes that they make at that time, it's almost like it's too late, right? Think of it like a plane running down or going down the runway, right? If it has a little runway that's 200 feet long, is that long enough? It's not long enough. The plane cannot take off. Now I'm talking about like a big commercial jet, right? It cannot take off, okay? But if you have a runway that's say 3 miles long, like we're looking at right now with Social Security, can that plane take off? Sure, it can scream down the runway at 200 miles an hour for a little while if it wants to before it takes off. It has all the time in the world. Well, not really, but you know what I mean, right? The analogy is if it has 3 miles to go down the runway, it's fine. It's got a little ways to go. But if it only has 200 feet, it's not even going to try because honestly, it simply does not have enough space to run. Same thing goes right here. If they blow it with the next administration and they do nothing to reform Social Security, it's going to be a bad picture in about 10 years from right now when insolvency is coming. We know that for a fact. Insolvency is coming. There's nothing we can do about it other than reform the program. It's like a train screaming down the tracks, right? It's coming. Look out, because no matter what you do, that thing is coming. Get out of the way, right? Or do something to maybe mitigate the risk. Again, same thing goes here with Social Security. Anyway, interesting. I'm very excited to see what happens here over the coming days, weeks, and months here. It is going to be a very exciting 12 months, basically between now and the elections of November 2024. Either way, I continue to say it, and I will continue pounding this for the next, year basically. 2024 is the year of Social Security, 100% guarantee it. Anyway, hope this one helps you. I would love to hear your feedback down below. Leave a comment, anything like that, based on what I've said here or based on what those candidates said in that clip I shared with you earlier. Leave those comments down below. I'd really enjoy reading your comments and see what you have to say about all this. Other than that, subscribe down below if you haven't done so. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day. Take care, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.